Hello, everyone, and thank you for participating in this 30 minutes short workshop or live today. I'm Maria. I live in Canada, and my goal today will be to keep helping people to improve or eliminate chronic health condition through this workshop, the fundamentals of chronic health condition, and in particular, what we can do to improve quickly, so we see an obvious change in us that will motivate us to continue to improve or eliminate our chronic health condition. While advertising this event, I have mentioned that everyone of three people in the world have multiple chronic conditions, which makes me feel very sad and even makes me feel I want to scream, because things are easy to improve at least. And today we're going to talk about those basic steps we can take to improve quickly and noticeably, because it is possible to eliminate even many of the chronic health conditions if we are concentrated on one goal, and if we work on a daily basis on it, so it becomes our most important routine, then we can succeed. The only difficult part, of course, is gathering the team around us, the support system. I know they say if the dream is big enough, you don't need drama, but we go through ups and downs every day, all of us, and some of us can get up, shake it off, and keep going, but most of the people they don't do that. They can't, because they're exhausting from chronic health condition, and this is a very difficult process for them. Actually, 80% of the people fail in trying to achieve their goals or achieve their health goals, because they don't have a support system, and the support system is the dream team. These are the people who tell you when something goes wrong, keep going, don't give up, you're on the right track, we love you, we support you, we're with you, we'll keep checking on you. So now I encourage you to stay focused, because some of the information for sure you may know, but some of the information might be just like a hint for you, to tell you what you can do better and easier to achieve obvious quick results, so you get motivated to continue. The top conditions that contribute to mortality and morbidity combined, using disability adjusted life years in high-income countries, include ischemic heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, depression, diabetes, back and neck pain. You know that we all have the genes that can open any disease, but for any of us, but some people get the disease, others they don't. And why they don't, we will be discussing this on February 8th. At the same time, 9 o'clock PST, 12 o'clock EST. Yeah, that will be this workshop. The next one is on the 1st of February, and it will be all about fibromyalgia. Today, I will speak about easy basic steps we can take to improve quickly and noticeably. And for clarity, I will go with the list of chronic conditions I just mentioned, because it will be easier for you to understand things and to build on the information. There's so many ways we can approach this theme, but this workshop is limited with time and it's impossible to mention everything that can be done to approach those chronic health conditions. So the first one is, I said, ischemic heart disease. And let's say a few words about the heart. The heart is a master organ of our body. So we treat our heart as the master. Our heart has many functions, and as you know, our heart never stops working, as well as the other organs. We were made in movement, and our heart, surprisingly enough, is a representative of that statement, because in order to maintain very well heart condition, you have to maintain the cardiovascular system. How? Through movement. We're supposed to live in motion. We develop our intellect, spirituality in motion. Learning is a process, it's a motion. So every time when you have the opportunity to have motion, do it. When I'm teaching, you always will see me standing. I am not sitting for longer than 20 minutes because it's very detrimental on the entire health of the body, and I will explain you in this workshop why. Another thing we do for the heart is meditation. Very, very important. Meditation and breathing for the heart health. You see, these are already, I told you, 3 things: movement, not sitting, and meditation. So our heart never stops. It's a perpetual creation. It's an amazing organ. It is 60 times more powerful electromagnetically than the brain, and it is 5,000 times its field is greater than the field of the brain. Our heart can be detected from 8 to 10 feet. I've been participating in those lectures where we have to detect the other person's heart or energy at all with our hands from such a long distance. It was very interesting. There are ways how to do that very quickly. You can learn that. So back to the sitting, the process of sitting, as Deepak Chopra states, that there is a research that shows that sitting for over 20 minutes causes the body to lose micro muscle fibers. So it is not unpunished thing. I know some people sit for 4 or 8 hours a day. It just bugs my mind how they can do it. Moving while working creates more fluidity and more information towards the brain and way better focus than sitting. And you can be way more efficient to do that. I mentioned meditation. I would like to mention the meditation type, which is hypnotic meditation, which I practice, and I practice with my clients. You can find information about that from Joe Dispenza. He is just my top one about that. He explains very well what and how to do. All these are very important about the heart. Losing weight is another thing we do to keep the heart healthy. Why? Because the weight in the torso, and especially around the heart and lungs and liver as well, it suppresses so much the organs which are already squished, that they cannot function in an optimum fashion. So, this is important. Smoking, I will mention once again later on, thickens the arteries walls. So the lumen, that is the hollow in the artery, remains really small, and the heart cannot pump the needed blood to organs and tissues to function. And ischemic exactly means that that tissue or organ have lack of blood and lack of nutrients and oxygen, and it starts dying, starts malfunctioning, or it stops eventually functioning. High blood pressure also is something you can eliminate. There is information about that. I work with clients. I have success with a client who got off of high blood pressure medications because we achieved great results with her health. And she was 60 something years old. So it is not impossible. It doesn't depend on your age even. High cholesterol also can be maintained. There is high cholesterol, which is genetic. That is a different thing. There you have to work with your doctor primarily. So our heart carries enormous burdens. And if we can unload our heart, this amazing organ, that will be fantastic for our heart's health and our other organs' health. Like the heart is the one that makes sure every organ gets nutrients and oxygen in order to function in an optimum fashion. The next thing will be the stroke. Why we get stroke? We get stroke when the blood supply to the brain is cut off. Why the blood supply to the brain is cut off? It's because a blood vessel is blocked, or it's even ruptured. And again, we come to the health of the heart. So that's why I included it in this slide as well. Then when the brain cannot get the blood it needs, then the brain cells are deprived from oxygen and nutrients and cannot really function. So why I'm mentioning smoking, because mostly people think that smoking has an impact on the lungs. Yes, it does, but it has a major impact on the cardiovascular system and on the brain's health, because due to smoking, the brain cannot get enough oxygen to be able to function in an optimal fashion. Next, heart-brain coherence. Extremely important. The heart and the brain to work at the same frequency. How you do that? Meditation and breathing with a focus in the heart. This is enough. I'm not going to say more about meditation because the theme is enormous. The next thing I would like to mention is rest and recovery. I would like to tell you that without rest and recovery, our brain cannot function properly. I have this experience myself. For over 10 years, I worked only as a group fitness instructor. and that was my full-time job. I had between 18 and 20 classes per week, which is enormous amount. And I was constantly in a high season. I would have 2 weeks break, vacation during those years, but at the rest of the time I was in a high season. I was feeling constantly foggy. I couldn't focus longer than 45 minutes. I had to have breaks in between my classes, so I recover for the next class, but the complete recovery never occurred because the days were very long, and no matter how long I would sleep, I couldn't recover. This is very damaging for the brain, ladies and gentlemen. The next thing I've mentioned here is called Donald Hebb's law. Donald Hebb's is a scientist. The law was introduced in the 50s. He's Canadian, and I'm very, very proud of that. He says that, let me read it so I don't make any mistake. If neurons repeatedly fire together, form a stronger connection. In other words, they wire together. They ultimately form memory and learning. This is very important for the health of your brain. This is the learning process keeps your brain in a good health. Sorry to use that word again. I was trying to find a synonym. Because knowledge brings excitement. Excitement changes us emotionally through hormonal changes. And then we get changed physically, and it makes us healthier. It improves the structure. I'm talking about positive excitement, of course. It has an impact on our cells, organs, and on our entire well-being. So the best thing for the brain to do to see some changes is to work on the cardiovascular system. Things work together. And to do meditation to recover and to make sure you have a brain coherence, brain-heart coherence between both organs. And if you're smoking, think twice about it. This is very, very detrimental for your cardiovascular system and for stroke. And for the next one, which is lung cancer, they say that the reasons for lung cancer are, so for the cancer, there is kind of agreement between the scientists that cancer is an environmental disease. So the environment we live in unlocks different type of genes, so we are diseased. But they don't know the real cause of cancer. This is the cause they know so far. They suspect that lung cancer is caused by tobacco smoke, but now I know you would tell me, I know a person that smokes, but they're fine, they're at this, at that age, and nothing's wrong with them. Yes, this is what I mentioned about the genes, that the environment opens the genes, and we don't know enough about it yet. Why some people are diseased and others are not, but definitely some people who smoke and have cancer, doctors state that this is a reason or precursor for the cancer. Another thing is asbestos exposure. Then you have arsenic exposure. Arsenic is in the water. It's a natural occurrence, meanwhile, in the water. Air pollution, of course, we can talk all along about that. Genetics. We have also poor diet, frequent radon exposure. Radon is a gas in the ground, in the earth, which comes out naturally. And we're building a house right now. Before we started, we had to have a radon test to see if it's a healthy place where we're building the house. The radon dissipates in the atmosphere, but if you have a radon exposure from the earth where you live, this is not good. And of course, radiation therapy can cause lung cancer. Another thing which can obstruct this organ, the lungs, from working properly is our bra. The bra suppresses the diaphragm, so the diaphragm cannot push down, so the lungs can empty properly, because the organ cannot go all the way down and then it come all the way up. I said push down and empty. No, when the diaphragm pushes down, the lungs are filling in, and when the diaphragm pushes up, the lungs are expelling the toxins. If you don't have good elasticity of this organ, this muscle doesn't work properly. And the bra is one of the things that suppresses and pushes the diaphragm not to expand to its optimum. Another thing the bra does is has an impact on the lymphatic knots here underneath the armpit, which is very, very unpleasant. You can also get lipomas and stuff like that. This is accumulation of fat, which the lymphatic system cannot really clean. So the bra has an impact on the diaphragm and on the lymphatic system. I talked about the cancer. Sitting longer than 20 minutes can be very difficult on the diaphragm, because the weight is constantly pushing the diaphragm down and making the muscle really stagnating. When you walk, you have a little bouncy movement, you do twisting, you're reaching out side to side, the whole body moves constantly. But when you're sitting, this compresses, the weight compresses, and the problem occurs also at the pelvic fascia, because pelvic fascia it sticks to the neighboring tissues, and the fascia has that thing that it constricts muscles and organs from working when it's tight. How we work on that? Hydration. You must drink your water. I don't care if you don't like your water or whatever. You drink your herbal teas or whatever. That body needs to get watered down. It needs it in order to function. All the bodily processes need water. Your lungs need a lot of water to function. So the fascia is a tubular creation of tubes, which we hope they're full of water, so it has a good elasticity and it does not obstruct organs. So here is another easy thing: drinking water. The body very often cannot clean and clear everything which we create as a bad thing inside of the body, so it chambers it, makes a chamber over it, and thus becomes the tumors. They grow under that chamber, and even if they're benign, which not very bad for the body, I would say, they can compress artery, they can compress, push on an organ and obstruct work on that tissue or that organ. So I wanted to tell you, water is one of the important things you take in order to avoid your body putting aside work to do for later on, because it's very helpful for cleansing and cleaning, and very helpful for the immune system. My favorite, Dr. Alan Watkins of the UK, whom you can find on the internet, on YouTube. He has a book as well. He suggests that we have to breathe evenly and equally. If we breathe in for 4, let's say, we breathe out for 4, and this way we balance or restore our body's biochemistry. It activates the lungs, it activates the diaphragm. It is amazing exercise. It's easy. It doesn't cost any money to do it. So you see, so many easy things can be done, but they have to be repetitively done. So our body is really helped and told that this is the new normal for it. Organs that pulsate are healthy organs. Very important things. Organs have muscles on their walls that helps them to contract and, let's say, to expel fluids or to work with the fluids inside. They pulsate. I mentioned in the beginning about the motion, that we live in motion. Yes, we do. Next is depression. Depression, interestingly enough, combines the 3 organs we were talking so far. You see how things are becoming in a chain, and you can understand them even easier. Why depression is occurred? It could be a problem in the brain chemistry, they say. It could be genetics. Here I want to open brackets. There's something like clinical depression. I'm talking about the depression which is occurring to all of us in different periods of our life because of loss or stress events. This is one of the reasons for the depression. They're also caused environmental reasons, because it's our environment that causes this. Depression can be caused due to social isolation. Meanwhile, this is all healable, curable disease. If it's not clinical depression, then you have to stay close to your doctor, because people with clinical depression have literally pain in the head, and they work with many tools. One of them is pills. They need those to manage the pain. Poor nutrition can cause depression, because those brain chemistry problems can be very often, in most of the cases, fixed with better nutrition. Medications have side effects and they can cause depression. Most of the medicines of the Orthodox medicine have many side effects, and even if they say that it's not known that side effects should be manifested with a big percentage of people, those side effects, they accumulate. What happens is the pill is a quantified substance that's supposed to go according to your weight or your age or whatever it has to work, but we never know how much exactly you need and how much is left over, and it looks its place in the rest of the body, and it finds the weakest spot in your body and it stays there and it accumulates there and it causes the side effect. This is the problem with the medications. Otherwise, they use amazing herbs and all that to make the medications. But the main problem is the The part that they put the herbs on to enter the cell, and the excessive chemicals which are in the pill that can really be stored in wrong places. It cannot be excreted by the body and stored in wrong places and cause problems. Chronic illness, one chronic illness can lead to depression. In the beginning, I have managed that 1 of 3 people around the world, and especially we have the data for North America for sure, have multiple chronic health conditions. And yeah, depression can be a cause of a chronic health condition, like people who have cancer, very often because they get that death sentence, diagnosis, cancer diagnosis can be very, very hard on your brain, on your thinking, on your lifestyle and all that, and people can get into depression. What can be done? A very minimum thing, and I encourage you to listen to I think it was Andrew Huberman. Huberman podcasts is one of the most amazing resources for helpful information. He talks with the scientists, and they show the latest findings about health. And he says even 2-3 minutes outside, watching the sunrise in the morning, even if you skip the sunrise, just be outside in the morning as soon as you get up, can change enormously your health status. It's amazing what we have available for free to improve our health. Another thing is people with depression need social contacts. And if you don't have depression, but you're watching this, please reach out to them. They need to interact with people in order to heal. It doesn't cost money as well. Physical activities to enhance chemical production by the brain. I would do a lot of yoga with people with depression, maybe some Pilates, a lot of stretching, and etc. To enhance a lot of myofascial stretching to enhance the brain production, or to enhance the cerebrospinal fluid that goes to the brain. And we need to achieve that coherence between lungs, brain, and heart. It is extremely, extremely important. How we do that? Very easy. Focus on your heart while you're breathing. Engage your brain to focus, your heart to focus on it, and the lungs while you're breathing. That's all. If you do it 10 breaths 2-3 times a day, or even once a day, it will bring enormous results in our long run. So that the pill will show results immediately, but it only will suppress your symptoms. It won't heal you. What I'm suggesting here, it's the minimum I'm doing with my clients to achieve success in the long run. It takes time. It accumulates as a success each day, as our routine. But hey, if that would help, why not? Working with chronic health condition it's horrible. People cannot have the energy to live their life. What kind of life is that? People get really depressed about that. Next is diabetes. So diabetes, we know there are type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And here in the picture, I showed you the insulin cell, which I find fascinating, extremely interesting, beautiful, and splendid. So that's why I put it in here. Type 1 diabetes is genetics. I have never worked with type 1 diabetes. It's not as common as type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is curable. Diabetes is a very old disease. It was found out by the ancient Egyptians, 1500 years BC, and they called it even a siphon. Diabetes, no, they didn't call it siphon. Diabetes means siphon because of the constant pain, and diabetes mellitus means sweet. Mellitus means sweet because of the sweetness of the urine, because it has a lot of sugar, right? So in the type 1 diabetes, you have actually an autoimmune disorder. The body literally, the body immune system mistakenly attacks and destroys insulin producing cells. So, you know, insulin transfers glucose from blood to energy. And what happens with the type 2 diabetes is that it occurs when the body does not produce enough insulin, or it does not, how to say, utilize enough insulin. This is a type 2 diabetes. It depends on a lot on our diet, exercise, and weight control. It can be caused, they say, by medical medicines, medical conditions, and medications. So let me go further. Yes, type 2 is curable. We said that it's a very old disease. And one of the things you can do very easy, and it's the intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting includes the sleeping time, and up to 16 hours is just fantastic if you could do it every day. I've watched a lot of doctors, including surgeons, videos of them on YouTube, you can find it, who state that fasting is not wrong for type 2 diabetes. Of course, stay close to your doctor. Don't stop the metformin while you're fasting. Even tell the doctor what you're planning to do. I forgot his name. It's a surgeon from Florida. And he even said that up to 3 days, people with type 2 diabetes have to fast, because they can improve enormously, or even heal type 2 diabetes. His patients, in those 3 days they are fasting, they have to call the office and submit their blood sugar results taken every few hours as he requests that. But yes, for sure, type 2 diabetes can be improved or cured. Exercise, exercise, exercise. So I want to open brackets here. Exercise do not help losing weight more than 30%. Don't think that you will eat, exercise 1 hour and you will lose weight. No, it doesn't work like that. Exercises are helping the body to circulate fluids better, helping the body to work better, to excrete better. But that doesn't still mean that we can exercise for that hour and 23 hours to do the opposite of exercise, to eat badly or not move at all or achieve weight loss. I just, from my practice and my knowledge as theoretical knowledge, I'm telling you, no, it's not working like that. Supplementation, very, very helpful with all the conditions. This is not pricey. But there is ways. When I offer supplementation to my clients, they have the opportunity to offer the same supplementation to other clients, and their supplements might come a percentage cheaper. So it's not that expensive if you try to look into it. Tinctures, decoctions, infusions, foment, they all are very important for the healing process. And as a soon-to-be chartered herbalist, I can offer those to the clients as well. Next is pain, back pain and neck pain. I want to tell you these are my favorites because I see it all the time. And maybe as a trainer, because then I worked a lot with the musculature system and with the bones. So I got a lot of cases of back pain and neck pain. This is a very I would say it's increasing the mortality. Yes, people die from back injuries, back and neck pain, because there are changes that occur in those vertebrae, and all these can be improved enormously, and some back and neck pains can be eliminated. For instance, inappropriate shoes which change the lumbar and consequently the cervical curvature really are one of the worst thing we do, and that causes back or neck pain. The curves of your body, of your spine, are so you can function properly, you can stay straight up, and you can do things from standing and sitting position, but mostly we're talking about standing position now. When you squeeze that foot in that tight shoe, the foot cannot send enough information. It senses through the skin to the brain, to your brain, so the brain positions all muscles and joints stable on the ground. Then, because the body cannot position well your whole structure, the organs start sacrifice and work and productivity, and they cannot have optimum production of what they do, what they work. Another thing is when the foot is squeezed, it changes the whole structure of the foot, that causes change in the ankle, then the knee, then the hip. So because the joints are transferring every change on the chain, every joint suffers because of that squeezed foot in the shoes. I don't know what else to say. If you wear tight shoes, you shouldn't wear them more than an hour a day. The rest of the time, the foot has to be fully relaxed and spread, so it can promote best posture for you, so you don't get back and neck pain. This is something easy you can do. Change your shoes, or don't wear tight shoes, or don't wear shoes at all. Back pain also might be caused by constipation, and the main reason for constipation is dehydration. So we have to hydrate. I don't care if you don't like water or whatever. There is only some heart conditions and some extreme problems with the kidneys that You really have to be careful how you hydrate. But as a urologist told me recently, the more you pee, the healthier you are. That means the more you hydrate, the healthier you are, because down there, your hip area really needs a lot of water to produce that cerebrospinal fluid. Neck pain can be caused by stiff muscles, and you have the levator scapula, which is a muscle that is attached to your shoulder blades to the head. When we're stressed, we elevate the shoulders, and this has an enormous impact on our neck, because there are many structural changes just because of this. Muscles start stiffening, and when we stress for a long time, we stay like that for a long time, the muscle shortens, it becomes not strong, it becomes tight but taut, T-O-T. It's a tight but weak muscle, not tight but strong, tight but weak muscle. And that causes a lot of headaches and problems with the neck. There are other reasons for that, but because this is very common, and that's why I talk about it. My favorite, where's my cell phone? The future generation will have those back and neck pains moved up in this chart. Trust me, because I see every person working on the phone or in front of the computer in this. When the head moves forward, you know, the head is about 30 to 15%, I think was the number, heavy of the weight of the body. The head and the shoulder girdle are attached to the torso by the sternal notch, which is right here. It's a tiny, well, not like this, but maybe something like this, bone, which just holds all this into the body when it comes to a bony structure. When the head pulls forward, it pulls the shoulder girdle, and when all this pulls forward, the neck will suffer enormously. Then the diaphragm will suffer, the breathing will suffer, and etc. So computer and phone always have to be like that. And one of the reasons also I'm choosing to teach like that is because the screen is in front of my face. I don't have to do this, lean forward, pull my chin forward. Another one is, very few people know it, but the ability of the eyes to focus at the same time. If I have to focus in this pen, my eyes will go into the center. They have to go together. If one eye is slower than the other, the head tilts in order to see. If this constantly happens and the head constantly tilts, it starts shortening the muscles if it's on this side, on one side, and lengthening, loosening up the muscle on the other side. And constant weight, mostly on this side, will cause problems in the shoulder girdle and etc. on the joint chain. So very important to check your eyes and to work with posturologist who knows how to correct that. Here I would also suggest many exercises for the eyes to my clients to improve the ability of both eyes to focus at the same time. And final comments, of course, I would like to send you with love. These changes are very, very easy to follow. What I think I haven't mentioned is the cold shower and the cold facial wash. Very, very important for stimulating of the nervous system that controls the entire body. We spoke about the diaphragm, the lymphatic nodes, the respiration, breathing, and meditation. This is important. I would like to mention that the cold showers are contraindicated when women are pregnant, when we have a heart disease, because it can cause this a heart attack, or when we have flu or cold, when the body really has to raise temperature to fight with viruses, microbes, or whatever we have then. You are still going to need a dream team. I suggest you to find your dream team. If you don't have a dream team, call me. I am my client's dream team, because somebody has to follow up with what you've done and what you haven't done, why, and what you will do next time. Because otherwise, if we don't establish routines and rituals and of things we have to do and make them a habit, we can't really battle the chronic health condition. If you hold on to those changes for 21 days, there is a great probability to implement the next changes required to improve or even eliminate chronic health condition. So it takes 21 days to acquire a new habit. This is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. These are long processes, the result from which is the accumulation of what we do as routines and habits, new habits. Through these processes, you got the chronic health condition because you have the wrong habits, nutrition, environmental, or whatever the reason is. Now we have to change these habits, not for that long, for a shorter period of time, but still it will take weeks and months for the body to start recovering. So don't expect that you can solve the problem overnight if the problem was created for years, because a chronic condition is not creating for overnight. It's building up for many years, decades. You can do it. Of course, the only question is how bad I want it. When you answer yourself this question, make sure that if you want it 6 of 10, you don't want it bad enough. You really need a very strong dream team. With my clients who start with 6 of 10, 7 of 10 even, we are working on the roadblocks and see what is stopping them, because people have different barriers. They don't want things to happen to them because they don't believe these things can happen, because they don't know how to do it, and they get discouraged, and they don't know what is to be absolutely healthy with a robust energy. So many more things that can prevent us from doing the 100% what we have to do. So if you would like to talk to me, please feel free to do that. Initial conversations are not paid, they're free. It costs you nothing, and it's a pleasure for me to see if I can help you anyway, and to work on your roadblocks, to work on your roadmap to your health condition, to your success. This is for today. Thank you very much for your participation, and thank you for wanting to eliminate your chronic health condition, because a world with healthier people, more healthier people, will be a happier place to live in.
Leave a question or comment and we'll be glad to answer. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.